What's up, all my devil dogs? It's your boy Sean, the Strength Corps 9 5-star General. Welcome to another video. Before we go ahead and get started on today's topic, go ahead and leave a like down below. You can do it before the video even starts, but it does help to get the channel into more people's feeds and just kind of spread the overall message of the video. So if you could do that for me, would greatly appreciate it. So as you can see from the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about, are you able to call yourself a bodybuilder or a powerlifter if you've never competed? So there's two types of thought process that goes into this. You have the people who think, well, as long as you're training in a bodybuilding style, so you're using higher reps, your focus is more on hypertrophy and building muscle, then yeah, you can call yourself a bodybuilder because that's what you're doing. You're bodybuilding, you're building up your body, right? And that's the argument to be made on that side. Same thing with powerlifting. If you are training in a powerlifting type of fashion where you're constantly trying to get stronger and move heavy weight on the big three, then you can call yourself a powerlifter because technically what you're doing is powerlifting. Then you have the other side of the spectrum. You have the people who say, no, just because you train in a bodybuilding style does not make you a bodybuilder because you've never stepped on a stage before. Same goes with powerlifting. If you've never stepped on that platform before, you can't really call yourself a powerlifter. You just kind of are training for strength. Now, what is your boy, the Iron 5-Star General? What does he think? What is my opinion on this topic? I am of the latter thought process. For me, being a bodybuilder or being a powerlifter goes beyond just how you train in the gym. Let me go ahead and explain to you why there's such a difference. Think about it like this. If I'm somebody who is just, you know, in the gym and I'm training in a bodybuilding fashion, so I'm doing my high rep work, I'm, you know, building up my body, eating the way I'm supposed to, and I'm building myself up, that is not the same as people who build their muscle, right? They go into the gym, you know, they do all these exercises, spend months on end building up muscle, and then they diet down to ridiculously low levels of body fat. I'm not talking like you're getting beach ready. I'm talking about getting competition lean, to where you are like sub 7, sometimes even sub 5 body fat percentage, and you are on that stage. There's so much that goes into it. There's water manipulation, carb manipulation, getting a pump, making sure that you know how to pose, which I don't know if any of y'all have ever tried to pose. Posing is hard. Posing is not just flexing your muscles. If you've never like tried to actually pose professionally, like just not like, you know, in your mirror where you're just doing like a back double bicep and you're just kind of flexing your biceps and maybe your back a little, every single pose actually has you flexing your entire body. So you could be doing a most muscular where you're kind of more trying to show off the chest, the arms, the lats, right? But you still have to be flexing your legs and your glutes all at the same time. It's a complete chain. So it's something that I had to be informed of, which is why I used to have a stance on, is bodybuilding a sport? And I still feel like it's a very, very subjective sport, but I will give it that it is a sport. I used to really be against the fact that it was even a sport at all, but after consulting with some of my bodybuilding friends and kind of getting more of a look into what it actually takes to step on that stage and be competitive, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it is a sport. It just has a lot of subjectivity to it, which is why it's not my sport of choice, but it does, you know, give it another level of difficulty. The same goes with powerlifters, right? The same goes for, you know, if you're in the gym and you're training for strength and you're just trying to add numbers to your big lifts, your squat, your bench, your deadlift, maybe even your overhead press, pull-ups, dips, you know, but your main focus is just getting stronger, that doesn't make you a powerlifter. Let me break it down to you like this. I've competed twice myself, so I'm not the most experienced powerlifter by any means, but there is definitely a difference between what happens in the gym and what happens on that platform. There's just a lot of things that come up on meet day that you can't plan for. You can't plan what time you're gonna lift. You can't necessarily plan the flight. It kind of just comes down to, okay, they're usually sending that out maybe a week before if you're lucky. I've gotten one a few days before, so you don't even know, are you lifting in the morning? Are you lifting at night? And before you say anything, yes, that definitely matters. If you're used to lifting at the end of the day where you've had 2 or 3 or 4 meals in you and you're lifting with full glycogen stores, you know, with nothing else to do the rest of the day. Very different than if you're training, you know, first thing in the morning when you got to go to work after, so you're on a time crunch, so you gotta, there's a lot of variables that go into meet day that you cannot plan for beforehand. The best thing you can do is to try and find out what day your meet is gonna be on, and then try to train like an SBD day maybe on that day, maybe, you know, 12 to 16 weeks out, just to get used to training, maybe, you know, in the middle of the day, so it's like it's not super early but it's not super late. That's the best you can do, but even that is gonna have its own, you know, kinks or chinks in the armor. I said kinks. I hope I don't get demonetized for this. A lot of people will never compete, and then they'll go around saying that, oh, I'm a power lifter, I'm a bodybuilder, and it kind of is an insult to the people who actually have competed, because until you stepped on that platform and had to lift that heavy weight in front of a crowd, you know, without, you know, you controlling when you're lifting, your rest times, how you warm up. Listen, at my last meet, I had to warm up on bumper plates on a rack that was way too short for me. Because they didn't have a whole bunch of racks, I ended up having to warm up with people who were like 5'8", 5'9". I'm 6'2", so I was basically doing a half rep just to unrack it, and then basically a half rep down just to re-rack it. And it was in pounds, and they were bumper plates. And then after that, I had to go onto a comp rack with comp plates and then squat my opener. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a variable that in training, normally I'm warming up with kilos, I'm warming up on the same rack, there's no difference. I can go at my own pace. If something doesn't feel right, I can stop and do a little extra mobility. In a meet, there's none of that. Like, once it's starting, like, you better be ready, because when they call your name, you have 60 seconds to get onto that platform, execute your lift, and get your, you know, at least 2 white lights if you complete the lift successfully. There is none of that when you're just training on your own. When you're just training on your own in the gym, there are no white lights. There's nobody judging, are you even hitting depth? Are you pausing on your bench press? Are you locking out on your deadlift, or are you hitching it? There's nobody to really judge that. So for you to say, oh, I'm a power lifter, to me that entails more than just the way you train. That entails that you took your training and you basically performed that in front of, you know, I think it's what, 3 judges, sometimes it's 4, but you perform that in front of judges where they basically okayed you on your lifts, gave you those white lights, and you were able to complete an entire meet day. And yes, I'm even gonna say, if you competed and you bomb out, you still competed, and I still consider you a powerlifter, because just to get on that platform is very tough, and no matter if you hit all 3 of your lifts or not, I would still consider you a powerlifter personally. Same, like I said, goes for bodybuilding. Until you've died it down for 12, 14, 16 weeks, and you have those cravings and you want those carbs, and you have a low carb day, or you gotta wake up super early in the morning to do cardio, or stay up super late to do cardio because you didn't get it in earlier. Until you've had to make that dedication and then step on a stage and show off your physique in a way that is appealing to the judges, because you can't just get up there and flex. You have to get up there and show personality. Yes, you have to flex, but there's a lot that goes into it. So for you to just be training in the gym, getting a pump, you know, Monday through Friday, and then taking weekends off and then saying, oh, I'm a bodybuilder, you see how that could be kind of offensive to like people who actually bodybuild and actually step on the stage? Listen, even for myself, even when I was just kind of focusing more on bodybuilding, I never called myself a bodybuilder. People would be like, oh, you're a bodybuilder? I'd be like, no, I don't compete, I just lift. You know, I'm a lifter, I'll give you that much, but I'm not a bodybuilder. And I didn't consider myself a power lifter either until after I competed, because at that point I was like, okay, I stepped on the platform, I did my thing, and now I can consider myself a powerlifter, you know, because I've done everything that a powerlifter is supposed to do. Whether you compete 1 time or 20 times, doesn't make a difference. Once you step on that platform and you've put yourself through that, you're a powerlifter. Nobody can take that away from you. Beforehand, you gotta earn it. It's not just something you can wake up and decide, oh, I'm training heavy, so I'm a powerlifter now. It doesn't really work that way. Think about it like this, right? I'm gonna use an example from my own life. Let's say, for instance, right, I'm in school right now. I'm not a firefighter. let's say for instance, my kitchen caught on fire and I went and put it out with the fire extinguisher we have. Yes, I put out a fire. Does that make me a firefighter? No, because what a firefighter does is they risk their lives on a daily in multiple kinds of situations, not just in, you know, putting out a fire. Yes, that's part of their job. But for me to go around saying, oh, I'm a firefighter because I've put out a couple of fires, you know, with my fire extinguisher does not make me a firefighter, because there's a lot more that goes into it than just, you know, putting some water or some foam onto fire. You see where I'm going with that? Now I will say this, I don't think anybody's gonna get offended and like really upset and like triggered or anything if you say, oh, I'm a powerlifter, you've never competed. We'll probably just scoff and be like, yeah, okay. You know, you've never stepped on a stage or you've never stepped on a platform, whatever, you can think whatever you want. But at the same time, I do think it is the responsibility of someone like me who is a powerlifter, who has competed a couple times, to just let you know, listen, I think competing is great. I think that everyone should do it at some point. It's fun. It's a great measure of, you know, just where you are as a lifter if you do take it seriously. But at the same time, if you've never competed and you never plan to, and you just like to work out and you just like to train recreationally, there's nothing wrong with that either. There's literally nothing wrong with that. Most of our population doesn't even work out. So if you're taking it at least seriously enough to get in the gym and be consistent and have a body that is, you know, or physique that is, you know, impressive, or you have numbers on your big lifts that are impressive, I mean, you're already doing more than I would say a majority of folks out there. So just because you can't label yourself as a powerlifter or bodybuilder shouldn't discourage you from just going in the gym and training and having fun, because there's nothing wrong with that. All right, guys, so I want to know, what is your opinion? Do you think that it takes you competing in order to call yourself a powerlifter or bodybuilder, you know, whichever one you choose to do? Or do you think people who haven't competed should be able to call themselves whatever they want, and, you know, pretty much doesn't really matter if they've stepped on the stage or on the platform or not? And, you know, if they lift heavy, they're a powerlifter, and if they, you know, train in a bodybuilding fashion, then they're a bodybuilder. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up down below, really helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to click that bell next to the subscription button so you get notifications for all my new videos. And of course, don't forget the orders, subscribe and share, like and comment, follow all my social media. Till next time, all my devil dogs, dismissed.
To make amends with all these false loves, I pray to cement will fucking swallow you. I follow you down road to this road. Get hard enough for you, my heart is gone to serious.